say? Luxurious. Heat Nation. Yeah. Mercy and Lago. Down to Biscayne. Yeah. 5 on the floor. Ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing. You can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frogs. Down to Biscayne. Kept the flow playing, got it all band. Y'all seen the block, stop with one hand. And Pat we trust, it's power have the guts. We're here to bring the heat, y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, and others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Also, make sure to subscribe to Off the Floor for the most heat anywhere.
All right, welcome into 5 on the Floor. It's over. It's over. Rejoice. Hang the banner. The winning streak has started. The losing streak has ended at 10 games. This does not become one of the 5 longest losing streaks in Miami Heat history. They were close to tying the 2007-2008 which actually was on the list 3 times on these long losing streaks. That they ended their losing streak with Dwayne Wade, Sean Marion, and Udonis Haslem in the lineup, and Jason Williams. This time, it was a lot of Andrew Wiggins. We're going to talk about him today. So the Heat's losing streak is over. One of the losses in this streak was to the Hornets. That was one of the most disappointing losses of all, with a 17-point lead. They avenged this loss today. They beat a terrible team. Again, at least it's over. Jimmy Butler's coming in here on Tuesday night. We're going to be shifting our attention to that as we go forward. Not a lot has changed in the overall Heat landscape, but at least this is not going to continue on and on and on. And for those who want them to lose, there are plenty of games left to lose. Trust me. But let's get to it. And Greg, let's just start today with the player of the game. We'll take some comments as we go forward. We got Major Passons, by the way. You can follow him at Major_Passons. We got Greg Sylvander. You can follow him at Greg Sylvander. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick. And at 5 Reasons Sports. All right, let's roll it. Player of the night.
And now it's time for the A-Aggressive Insurance Player of the Night, sponsored by our friend Lynette. You can find her at insurancebylynette.com. That's with 2 N's and 2 T's, insurancebylynette.com. If you need car insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, or any other type of insurance, she's the person to go to. Based in Lauderhill, she services the entire Tri-County area here in South Florida, and she will make sure to get you the best deal. She'll probably talk to you about the Heat while you're at it. Reach out to her, insurancebylynette.com. And now, the player of the game.
Well, Andrew Wiggins has come back from this ankle injury, ready to roll here. First, it was the 30-point performance. What do you end up with tonight? What did we finish with?
42 on
42.
16 of 21 from the field.
Highest scoring game
Andrew
of any
Wiggins
Heat.
night.
Greg, highest scoring game of any Heat player this year, right?
I think
Or
so.
did Hero have 43? I got to look back and check. But huge game for him tonight, and I guess this is what's been odd about this. First thing, he's missed more games than Jimmy has since the trade. So all this talk about availability, and he hasn't been available. He's actually put up better numbers than Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the efficiency, which has been not great in every game. Jimmy's efficiency has been down since he went to Golden State. It's just that his rebounds and assists have been way up. And but it hasn't been contributing to winning. Tonight it contributed to winning. Now, again, you're going against a tanking team that's really, really bad that they shouldn't have lost to the first time. But let's try to start this on a positive note, though. Like, what do we see? I'll go to you first in this, Greg, and then to Major. What do we see that we like from Wiggins?
I mean, he's really aggressive in terms of trying to get his shots up. I think that they probably are being pretty prescriptive in telling him he needs to go get his shots, because the only way that this team can generate enough offense beyond Bam and Tyler is Wiggins. And tonight he had it going. So, I mean, ultimately it's kind of, I feel it's unfair to connect him to good stats in losses or good stats against bad teams, because this entire stretch has been kind of infectious top to bottom. Everybody's had their woes throughout it. There's nothing good that came of it. So I think ultimately you're going to try to see them mentally have a clean slate, and hopefully Andrew Wiggins provided them one tonight. 42 is huge. I mean, you think about guys that have gotten traded to the Heat mid-season and came in and had big games. This is one of the bigger ones that has happened from a scoring perspective. So, it's good to see that he has it in there.
Major, what do you like?
I mean, his shot-making ability, Coop tweeted out, it's the most jump shots he's made in a game in his career. So he was pretty confident with his step-back mid-range. I like that he can create his own shot, at least to an extent. And we're not relying only on Hero to do it. When he's playing confidently and the ball starts going in, Wiggins is a very, very talented player and a talented scorer. It's just, are we going to get these, not 42 points every game, but get like the consistent 25 on high efficiency consistently to kind of make him into that quote unquote core?
That's the thing about this. You mentioned efficiency. That's really where it's at for me. Because I telling him to get his shots up is one thing. Him hitting a consistent amount so that it does take the pressure off others, especially late in games where they've had so much trouble. I still worry about his handle in those situations. I don't think he's just put the ball in his hands, against a good team. I don't think he's just put the ball in his hands, get out of the way type guy. No. He doesn't get to the line like Jimmy did. He doesn't slow the game down like Jimmy did. He doesn't play with the physicality that Jimmy did. We have to differentiate these things. He does some things. I think that he can get on a streak in terms of the mid-range shot. He doesn't have much arc on it. But when he starts to get it going a little bit, he is a rhythm player there. And I think in some ways he can be more efficient maybe than Jimmy was from some of those areas. But that's the thing, is that he started his career, obviously with all the hype, number one option or number two option on some bad teams. And then finally finds the role in Golden State where he's really supposed to be the number 3, but played at times like the number 2 as they won a title in what was overall a down year for the league. There wasn't great. I mean, that Boston team wasn't quite the Boston team that we saw after that.
And you hate him.
That also, right. Exactly. I give him credit for shutting down Tatum, but my feelings on Tatum. So it's like everybody wants to crown him for that. And I'm like, well, okay, Tatum's a lot of times shuts down himself. But I think what has to happen here is they have to figure out a way to blend the two.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is about the rest of the roster construction. I don't think we really know what Wiggins' role is going to be here until we see what the rest of the team looks like. I think on this team, it's pretty clear that you can't count on Tyler to carry night after night after night and have success.
No.
So that's why they need somebody else to do it. Now, again, what else they add in the offseason, whether or not Wiggins is shopped for someone else. I keep getting, and I dropped some of this on Playback and Discord the past couple days. I keep getting an indication that the Durant thing, while it's discussed so much, again, they had an offer for Durant on the table, which was Jimmy, a young player, and a first, okay? When they had the Jimmy contract. I believe the young player was Jovic based on the contracts. They didn't take it. They asked for everything. If the Suns come back and ask for everything again, I can tell you the Heat are going to say absolutely not.
Correct.
And they don't even have the Jimmy contract to move anymore. So the idea of getting Durant, particularly if he really wants to go to Houston now and Houston has all those assets, I wouldn't count on it, which means most likely Wiggins is going to be here, because to me, Wiggins would be a contract that you move to get KD if that's what you're going to do. So if he's going to be here, he's not going to do this every night, but it's good to see an upswing for that. And people have said he doesn't look like he wants to be here. I'm just telling you from talking to Andrew Wiggins as a rookie and talking to him now, it's just what he is. He's not very soft-spoken, introverted personality. His teammates come to care about him. They did in Golden State, but he's never going to look excited. It's just not who he is. All right, let's get to the play of the night.
And now it's time for the X-Ray of the Play of the Day, brought to us by our friends over at Mobile C-Arm and Staffing Services. Nelson and his team will bring the X-ray equipment and the staffing to you. If you work in a hospital or a medical office, get a consultation today at c-armandstaffing.com or give them a call at 561-891-9620. Their fleet of trucks at your service. Again, it's mobile C-Arm and Staffing Services, 561-891-9620. And now, the X-ray of the play of the day.
All right, let's go to Major on this one. What you got?
My play of the game is Wiggins getting fouled on the 3 because I think it's hilarious that they were double teaming Wiggins down 20 at the end of the fourth quarter because they didn't want him to hit 40.
And then
they
challenged it.
And then they challenged it. It's like the pettiest, like biggest loser thing I've ever seen. Like no one wants this game to continue. Just let it end. And then they challenged. I was going to be so mad if that got overturned. But that was the play of the game because that was just, I thought it was exciting and funny in a terrible Heat season. For whatever reason, that play just stuck out to me as something I could laugh at and have fun.
You're on mute.
Others are mentioning the hero dunk on the break. And
that was big. I haven't seen
big.
Hero get up like that.
No, and it's good to see because, again, I do think that first thing, I know that he had a personal issue the other day, and not to make excuses because he hasn't been good enough since the All-Star break. And the team acknowledges that. I mean, he's shot 30% from 3 since the All-Star break, which is obviously a big dip from where was he 41% prior to the break. But I do know he had a personal issue the other night, and that may have contributed. They were even surprised he played. So it was good to see he played today and had some of those moments. I want to get to something else here. We did a big podcast. We did a podcast on Ware, kind of evaluating where he's at. I really haven't had a chance to have Greg comment on him as much. Brady and I did a breakdown on it. And now that we've seen, and now we're 52 games, I guess he's played. Where are you at with him?
He's exceeded my expectations. I did not expect him to be part of the contributing rotation throughout this year. The fact that he spent as much time starting as he did and ultimately is a player that's contributing on a night-to-night basis. I know that the lineup thing can be a little weird. 10-game losing streak. You try all kinds of different stuff. Maybe he finishes out the year as a starter going forward. I feel like they found something with Ware and Bam. That doesn't need to be amongst all the losing. Don't abandon that concept. Let's try to build upon it. So to me, it's been nothing but good. I mean, I know that there's the ups and downs of Ware learning kind of how to get through a season. And there's been, the lapses at times, but not to the degree that I would think negates the progress he's made. I think he's way ahead of schedule, honestly. Mute again.
Out of practice hosting these post games. The key thing there is that if you're going to use Ware and Bam together, the spacing with the other parts really matters. And that's why you need Wiggins to be able to open the floor up for you a little bit, kind of the way he did today. I mean, they've had to go to this lineup with Wiggins, Hero, and Robinson just to get some floor spacing out there. But we know that's not a long-term starting lineup fix. I don't think it is anyway. I think this is something that you're doing right now, again, just to open up the floor a little bit for the two bigs. But that we saw Bam hit a 3 at the end of the game, where it may get better from there, but there may be some dips, some valleys as he goes forward. It's a tough lineup to construct. It's kind of what Minnesota had found a little bit when they were playing. We'll go back. Towns spreads the floor. That's the thing. But even going with the two, and he's a great floor spreader, but like anytime you're going with the two bigs, you have to be able to find other pieces, get athleticism, guys who can break it down off the dribble, those kind of things that this team is still short of. Okay. And that's why, as they look at this roster construction, if they're committed to it, then everything else needs to fall off of that. All right. We're going to play those two. Who else is going to make this thing work? And I think part of it is getting Tyler off the ball more often. And I think a lot of this is getting a point guard who can space, create, and set you up.
Maybe high in the lottery.
Because that feels like that's what they need. But one of the problems with the point guards in the draft is Adele has gotten into a lot on some of his stuff, and check out his work on Off the Floor on Discord. So sub for the $2.99 a month. He's gotten into the fact that a lot of these point guards in the draft are not polished shooters at this point, and so. You can bring in a point guard. Point guard's a hard position to learn how to play in the NBA right away. You can bring in a point guard and maybe you could get it to work as a starter immediately. but I don't know that it's going to be a guy who spaces for you. So that's kind of the issue there. All right, let's get to defending the house.
And now it's time for our Defending the House segment, sponsored by our friends over at The Real Estate Shop. You can find them at realestateshopfl.com. That's with 2 P's and an E, realestateshopfl.com, or at the Fort Lauderdale Realtor on Instagram. This is Javier Iglesias and Amanda Martin. They help buyers and sellers in real estate. They're nimble and protective of their clients. They service the entire Tri-County area. That's Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties with a proven on-market strategy. The Real Estate Shop sellers earn the most money in the shortest time frame because Amanda and Javier have a deep understanding of the local market. So check them out. Again, it's at the Fort Lauderdale Realtor on Instagram, realestateshopfl.com, or give them a call at 954-268-9812. And now, who defended the house?
We're going to be getting comments here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys sub to that if you're listening to this on the podcast. Any point guards you like on the free agent market. We're going to do the whole free agent thing again. We've got a lot of episodes planned for that. We have months. We're going to have months, lots of months. Months and months and months and months and months.
We'll get to it.
Major. We're going to do something a little different here. Defending the house, typically we talk about how the Heat defended a given game, but they played Charlotte. So I want you to do this, okay? And then we'll close here because we got another episode to get to tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us on the live. You have been one of the more, I would say, optimistic of our group. You're Mr. Positivity. I mean, Greg pales next to you at this point. You are Mr. Positivity, as opposed to, say, Naveen, who is not Mr. Positivity, and others in our network are not Mr. Positivity, and then others who are not in our network who think that all of us are Mr. Positivity, and they get on us about that. Okay, why do you still feel positive about their direction, or do you? I want you to defend your position. We're going to be making our guest hosts do this the rest of the season, just to keep things interesting.
Are we talking about this year?
I'm not this year, just generally. Like, why do you, like, you are not as negative as most of the Heat Twitter. In fact, you're tired of Heat Twitter for that reason. Okay. So we got this from Royal. Obviously, people know Royal Shepherd well. Delusional is the word you're looking for. Major is delusional. so
Defend yourself against that.
Defend yourself against Royal. Thank you, Royal, for the contribution.
I do call myself delusional too. But I would say, like, people are going to think of me of past years when we had Jimmy Butler and other things, of no matter how bad it went, like, I was like, if we get into the dance, we have a chance, right? Like, you just put it. This team, me and Greg have talked about it. I actually don't believe that anymore with this team. I still want them to win every game. Still think they can win a single game. Their absolute max, if everything goes 100%, is second round. And that is delusional of itself, of they're probably not even going to get there. But that's 100% best case scenario, right? As far as the direction of the franchise, we talk a lot about talent. They have a lot of young talent, in my opinion, still, but young talent's kind of different than talent. It's not fully developed. They have holes in their game. You still obviously have Spo. You have Bam. I mean, you do have Tyler, who people are going to argue how good he is, but he's still a good player. So, I mean, I just trust. We look back in the past 10 years, too. People want to say Pat Riley and everyone's done a terrible job. Has it been perfect? No. But still, they've had some of the most success in the NBA, right? Whether you want to attribute that to Wade getting every player that they've ever signed or whatever you want to, they still win. Even whenever we were down in the dumps, we still came back. We still got Jimmy Butler. So I'm going to trust the people that have done this at an elite level ever since they've been here.
Wade got Zoe to come. Did you hear that one, Greg? Did you know that? According to the fans, Wade got actually
Pat Riley here.
Dwayne
got Riley to come.
Dwayne got Riley to come. Dwayne went with Pat when he was with the Knicks. In fact, Dwayne actually got the franchise here in '88, even though he wasn't.
No, he was born '82.
He was 82. That's right. He was 6. He was 6, but Dwayne was down here. Actually, Dwayne admitted some stuff on a podcast recently I never heard him admit, which is interesting because it's stuff that I'd heard about how it was really LeBron who put the big 3 together. You should really listen to that podcast because that's actually true. Because Dwayne was almost off to Chicago. There's no bigger Dwayne Wade supporter in the world than me, but some of the mythology on this stuff is beyond. Anyway, okay, Major, we appreciate you. Royal's still not going to agree with you. Greg, thanks for doing so many losing podcasts. It's not Major's fault anymore. It's yours. And again, I apologize for hitting the mute button too many times. All right, Greg and I are going to get to another podcast tonight. We should end this with here for Mike T. Way drafted cycling.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.